Hi friends, hope you are all doing well. This is our third part of C# video session. So today we will discuss on variables and constant. This is the same project that we have created in our last demo. So here this is our program.cs. Let's start with an example for variables. So today our topic is variables. What is variables? Let's start with a example. Int my variable equal to 10. So let's break this line of code. One is int, the second one is my variable, third is this equal to, and the 10. So what is this int? Int is the data type. My variable is the variable name. Equal to is assignment operator, and 10 is the value. So in our upcoming videos we will discuss in detail on this data type, assignment operator and all. Today we will discuss on this variable only. So variable, what is this variable? Variable are used to storing and manipulating data or values within a program. So inside a program, the variable, what variable does? It will store some values. Here it is maybe 10. So my variable is a variable name which is storing 10 as a value. So there is two part. One is declaration and one is initialization. When we will use this variable, or when the concept variable will come, there is two parts. One is declaration and another is our initialization. What is this declaration? In this same line only we have declared the value and initialized the value, but we can do by two lines. So what is this? In the same variable we can comment this out, and declaration. First we declare this variable, my variable. This is called declaration. And in the next line, my variable can be 10, 100, anything, whatever our requirement is. So this is our initialization. So in the first line we declare this variable, my variable, and in the second line we assign the value. We give a value to this my variable. So this my variable is storing 100 as a value. That is what the definition is saying. Variables are used to store value. Here this my variable is storing 100 as a value. So the first part is declaration. Variable must be declared with a specific data type. So here as I said already, int is a data type. So always before declaring this variable, we need to give the data type name. Then initialization. What is this initialization? Variable can be initialized, assigned a value at the time of declaration or later. In this line, in the same line, we are declared and assigned a value. But in the second example, we first declare this variable, then we initialized this variable. That's what the initialization definition is saying. Variable can be initialized, or we can assign a value to this variable at the time of declaration. At the time of declaration means this line, when we declare, at the time we assign, or later also we can assign. The second line is the example where we are assigning the value later. In the first line only we declared, and in the second line we assign. There is one rule or naming convention is there. Variable name should be meaningful and it should be in camelCase. So you should not give the variable name like my variable and all. So in the real case, actually the variable name should be like int age, like this. So it should be some meaningful name and it should follow the camelCase. CamelCase means the first letter should be start like the with lowercase, and if there is more than one word in the variable name, then the second word always start with a uppercase and the rest of the letter should be in lowercase. That is CamelCase. Whatever written here, camel C is small and case C is capital or uppercase. So what we learned, variable is nothing but it is used to store a value. It should be declared with a data type and the value should be or value can be assigned at the time of declaration or later also we can initialize a value. That is what the definition and the types of variable. There is, we can say, three types of variable. One is local variable, one is instance variables, and last is static variables. Let's go one by one. Whatever we have declared here, int my variable equal to 100. This is called a local variable. Why? Because declare within a method or block of code and accessible only within that scope. If you see, this main method, this main is nothing but a method, and method is nothing but a block of code. If you see, this is the starting of the code, starting of the block of the code, and this is the ending of this block. And whatever we have written inside this is called the statement or lines of code inside this block. So whenever we declare a variable inside a method or a block of code, we will say that variable as a is called as local variable. That variable called as local variable because it is declared inside a block of method or inside a method or block of code. So this is called local variable, and this can be only accessible inside this method only, not outside this method. Let us see what the definition is saying. If I am trying to print this my variable, then fine, we can access here because it is a local variable and it is accessible inside this method only. So let's run and watch the output. It should show 100. Yeah, because we can access this inside this main method only because it is declared inside this main method. Now what we will do, we will declare another method. How we can declare? Public maybe void, and what is this void we will discuss later. My method. Let's try to access this my variable here. Copy this line and paste it here. See what it is saying. My variable does not exist in the current context. So it is saying my variable is not present and it is not accessible inside this my method because this method or this variable is only in the scope of this main method, not in the scope of this my method. That is what the local variable scope. What it is saying, declare within a method or block of code and accessible only within that scope. If you see the example, it is only accessible inside this method only. But the instance variable declare within a class but outside any method. If the second variable is instance variable. What it is saying, instance variable, let's declare another variable, maybe int age. Let's give a meaningful name, that is 30. I am declaring and assigning value in the same line. That is one way, and this is another way. So try to access this edge here. It can be accessible because it outside of any method. It is not inside main method. It is not inside my method. It is inside class program. So class program instance variable can be accessible to main method, to my method. Let's try to access this. But while we are trying to use this variable, we need to create an object of this class. And why, we will discuss maybe later, but we have to create a object of this class. How to create this, may be the syntax, we will discuss later. Obj is the object of the program class, and obj.h we can access, but we cannot access like obj my variable. No, we cannot access. Only we can access obj age, because age is a instance variable and it is accessible to any method of this class. Okay, this also accessible to this method, and we have not created this obj, so let's create that obj as well here. Okay, so as per instance variable definition, it should be declared outside of any method and it should be declared inside a class, and all the method of that class can be accessed that instance variable. That is what the definition saying. Static variable is another type of variables. So what is this static variable? Static variable, same, but the keyword static will be used before declaration. Int may be this time variable 2, maybe 400, anything. But this is a different type of variable declare with static keyword. How we will use this one? The static keyword is a like concept or is a important topic in our C#. So we will also discuss in this static keyword in our later video session in detail. But when we use static, if you see the main method also static, and if you see this variable also static. The static variable, when you use static, it should be comes under directly the scope of the class. So if you see obj dot, what is the variable name? Variable 2. We cannot access variable 2 by using this obj. Let's copy this one. No, we cannot access. What it is saying? Cannot be accessed with an instance. So as it is a static, we cannot access with this object. We have to access this one by using the class name itself directly. Okay. So if you see these two, this age and variable 2 can be accessible to these two method, but this particularly this local variable is not accessible to the second method. The same also applicable here. If I will declare int variable 3 equal to 500, we can access this one without any object, without class name, directly with that variable name, because it is a local variable. If you like mouse over on this, it will show this is a local variable, and this local variable is directly accessible to this method because it is directly in the scope of this method. But we cannot access this variable 3 here. Let's try to print this one here as well. What is the variable name? Variable 3. Sorry, variable 3. Okay, because it is saying does not exist in the current context. So we cannot access my method's local variable in main method, and we cannot access main method's local variable in my method, but we can access this instance variable and this static variable by using the object and directly here the class name in any method. That is what our concept of variable here. So in this next video we will discuss on constant and this is all about your variables. Okay, thank you for watching this video. If you found this video helpful, please consider liking, subscribing and leaving a comment. Your support and feedback are greatly appreciated. Thank you.